Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Thank you for being patient while we deal with technical difficulties because life gets in the way. So, I hope everyone watching is having a good week so far. I am Teri True Crime for those of you that are new here, and welcome to Midday Missing, where I cover current missing person cases. And for those of you that are new here, currently True Crime and Wine Time production produces the podcast True Crime and Wine Time, the Hey Ho Show, the investigation into the disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, which is on hiatus, and Midday Missing. But we also have a couple of new series that we will be announcing soon. I believe one of them has already been announced, and that is Women on Death Row. The others will be coming to you soon. So we stream live several days a week. So be sure to subscribe to our page so that you don't miss anything. Okay, guys. Now, for a little bit of housekeeping, remember our moderators are always looking out for our community, and anything that goes against our rules or has a less than favorable impact will be deleted. Repeated efforts to interrupt, or detract from the conversation will result in a temporary block or ban. Now, I told you all about Bianca Carrasco and her disappearance on our July 22nd episode. And today we have her sister, Jovanna Burney, on with us to help give us further details and information about her sister's disappearance. So I want to welcome you. Hi, Jovanna. How are you?
I am. Thank you for being patient. I actually help coach my daughter's volleyball team, and we're about to head into the season. So, yeah.
No, it happens. Life gets in the way. I just hope you've cooled off because it is hotter than Hades here in Texas today.
My water.
I know. I've got mine too, and I'm like on my
Yes,
third
it
one
is
today.
very hot. Very hot.
So, well, thank you for agreeing to come on and talk with us about Bianca. And I'm still wearing my bracelets. Got lucky that they're pink, and that's my signature color, so I can wear them every day because
I was looking at your chair. Bianca would have loved your chair.
Yeah, I'm a pink girl. People say, "Is pink your favorite color?" And I say, "No, I am pink. That's just the way it is."
That was Bianca.
Oh, see?
Yes.
And we're both July babies.
Yes.
So we have a lot of similarities there. But before we get into the questions and talking about Bianca, I just want to recap for anybody who didn't see the July 22nd one. Bianca went missing on May 1st, 2016, after an argument with her husband. Now, according to Bianca's husband, Bianca walked out of the house after an argument. And basically, guys, he's saying she left behind her children and her life. And to date, Bianca has not been found. So, Ivana, can you, before we get started, tell us a little bit about Bianca and what she was like as a person, besides the fact she was perfect and loved pink?
Well, she was really funny. You'll hear me say this so many times. Probably people watching right now, I say that a lot. If they've been following, but she really was funny. She's so witty. Because I say funny, she was witty. She could just come up with something outrageous that would just make you laugh, especially during hard times like this. So I really miss her, miss having that in my life, just that presence in my life. She was such a good nurse. She was very committed to her career, but not just as a career. She just really loved her patients and wanted to help. She always said she wanted to change lives, and that was her way to do it. And she loved her children. She was an overcomer, and so some that may have already heard a podcast or something, they may have heard her story. They know that she's gone through a lot of really not easy things, and
Right.
you can see that. I can see that as a big sister, how much she was growing since she's become a mommy, and always overcoming, always trying to be better and do better than what we had. And that was my sister. Yep.
Now, I mean, I love that she was a nurse because I I've been in the hospital so many times in my life, but nurses, I can tell you, I've had some amazing nurses that I think they actually helped me heal faster because they were just so positive and so
Mhm.
kind, and I didn't feel stupid by asking questions. And then I've had others that weren't so great, but I have to say, I truly think that you heal faster when you have someone that you know truly cares and that they have empathy for what you're
Yeah,
going through.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I definitely believe that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, she was a mother. She had, was it 3 children? Is that right?
3 children.
3 children.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, how would you describe your relationship with Bianca before she went missing? Because everything I've heard and seen, I kind of think you 2 were close, but I wanted to know, was it always like that?
No, I mean, the thing is, what we've always been close. We just had, when you look at the ages, we just really come from a lot of hard stuff. And when I think of my sister and our relationship, it was like we were always fighting against, you know, whatever challenges were on us, and our relationship was the same. We just always were trying to stick by each other. She would say that we fought hard, but we loved harder. And that's how we were. And so something like this, she would have absolutely been doing. I think she might have had more wisdom as to what to do because I was never in a true crime, but she was. So I think about
Oh,
that. I think about how right before she was missing, if I get emotional, I'm so sorry. I
no.
think about the things she wasn't sharing to protect me. Um, she knew she knew I would be worried about things. So
Well, now, is she the big sister or you're the big
I'm
sister?
the big sister.
So
I'm the
she
big
didn't wanna
sister.
she
No,
didn't
and
want
she
you to worry
knew
about her.
she did not want me to worry about her, and she knew that I did worry about her. I was always up in her business, you know. Um, but that's something I think about too. My sister would not have just been out letting me be out here talking, crying in front of everybody all the time. Whenever I cried, Bianca knew something was really wrong. She was the crier. I wasn't the crier. And so I just think of all the moments that it's in the news and I'm crying or I'm on it. She wouldn't have let that happen. She would have been like, "Oh, wait a minute, what happened to my, what's going on with my sister?" Um, Something that's really silly that I say. I know that's why she didn't walk away. She just wouldn't have done that.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, I hear that from so many people, and I just got goosebumps from that because everything I've heard and seen about your sister, I can't imagine she would have put you or her children through it
She wouldn't have.
because she had
Mhm.
overcome so many things. She
Mhm.
couldn't have overcome what she was going through. She seemed to have that tenacity to do it.
That's right. And I do think she was in a hard chapter of her life about to go through a divorce. I think she was scared. Uh, but I don't, that just wasn't my sister to just walk away from everything. Um, she just wouldn't have done that. She worked too hard. You said it. She
Yeah.
worked too hard. And she wasn't
Yeah.
perfect. She wasn't perfect. None of us are. Um,
I was to say,
I
is
just
anyone?
right. No, none of us are. I think that's why I hate some of the comments that people make on her story. People are so mean. But
Oh, I have to tell you, I have a huge problem with these people who get
mhm,
behind a keyboard and say things. And I have had to bite my tongue and not engage them because I know that's what they're looking for and they want that. But I have seen some of the most disrespectful things, not on Bianca's, but on others. And I just really want to pick up the phone and call people and say, who raised you?
yeah.
Who raised
I
you
just
to
think it's
be this
sad.
way? It
It's really
is.
sad when you see comments like that. I Of course in the beginning of this it would make me outraged, but now it's like I just feel so sorry for you, and
Yeah.
would not pray or wish this on anyone to go through this.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just sad.
It is. Now, can you walk us through the days up leading to Bianca's disappearance and what was going
Yeah,
on in her life?
I'll try to do a short version.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. The
There
Wednesday
is,
before,
and I'm
go
going to
ahead.
stop you real quick and just let people know who are watching. On our Facebook page, we are reposting all of the podcasts who are covering this,
Thank you.
news articles, because it is a big story. And we could probably do 5 or 6 episodes on it if you want to know
Yeah,
the truth. There is so much.
so
So
much.
I am going to recommend anyone go and listen to the others and search it out because there is a lot. So, yeah, just give us
Yeah.
kind of an overview.
I would just say the days leading up to her disappearance, there was a lot of fighting going on. He had found out that she was seeing someone else. Nothing serious, but enough. That was enough for him based on the kind of guy he was. I think it just sent like everything was chaos. Just the kids, him driving all around Texas. I don't know why. Um, it was just really chaotic. And Bianca trying to figure out, what do I do next? That Sunday, though, that she went missing, during the day, I spoke to her and she seemed very calm. She
Oh.
seemed to have, um, they must have had I don't know if they had a talk or something when he got back in town.
Mhm.
But that she knew what she had to do, and she was going to meet with a lawyer that Friday. I asked her if she needed help with anything. She needed to come stay with me here in Houston. She needed help with the kids, whatever. She said no. She was okay. Everything was okay. I don't know. She could not have, maybe, like I said, she kept stuff from me so that I didn't worry. I don't know. She just sounded calm. And I talked to her, got to tell her I love her. And from then on, she did a few Snapchats that day. We don't know what happened. There's phone pings, but nothing. She was at home. Her phone last pinged at home. And so on Monday, when I tried to get a hold of her, I couldn't. Straight to voicemail, text not going through. Get a hold of him in the late afternoon, and he tells me that they got into a fight last night, which would have been Sunday night, and
Mhm.
she walked on foot away from their home. That's the story. Her phone's never been turned back on, never pinged anywhere else again. There's been no activity on anything. Her nursing license, like, I mean, there's money
And her
that was
phone
sitting.
was not at home, or it was? No?
It last pinged at home, but
Okay.
there has been, where's her phone? I don't know.
Yeah, well, if she took off walking and took her phone with her, you would think it would ping somewhere else, but
That's right.
I'm not a detective, but that's just my little common sense brain
Mhm.
thinking.
Right.
Now, you reported her missing. What was the initial response from law enforcement?
So Monday, I didn't report her missing because it was really confusing. I found out that the kids were left alone overnight that Sunday night. So he said he took off to Odessa, Texas. For those who don't live in Texas, San Antonio and Odessa, yes,
That's a long.
west, 5 hours west, nothing, all
And he
oil field.
left the children at home alone. Now, they weren't old enough to be left at home alone, were
No,
they?
no.
Okay,
And
I
I
didn't
think that
think so.
upset me the most initially, that they were left home alone. Um,
How old was the oldest?
9.
And the police didn't find that a problem?
Well, CPS did get involved, Child Protective Services. They
Okay.
got involved that week. There was a whole separate case for that. But
Okay.
just trying to get a hold of her. And then he was discouraging me from reporting her missing. But I knew something was wrong. I just knew it. This isn't,
Trust your gut.
it was crazy. And so Tuesday, when she didn't show up for work again, when I called and find out she didn't work, and she wouldn't have not called if she was going to not show up. That's just her work ethic was so important to
As I say,
her.
she was a nurse. She wouldn't want to leave her
Right. But
patients.
even her, like, she had a hard time calling in for, like, if she was sick. She just did not, that just wasn't her work ethic. She was going to push through whatever she needed to do to not miss a day of work. So that was off in the very beginning. When they told me that she didn't come in again, no call, no show, nobody can get a hold of her, that's when I made the phone call to police, and I had to call Houston police first. San Antonio wouldn't accept it because I'm here in Houston. So I did that. They came to my house, took a report, tried to call him, and he's on speaker, and they asked him, hey, Joe, is this Jovanna Carrasco? And he says they have the wrong number. And then from there was just so many things that I'm
Okay,
like, what?
He lied
Yes.
to the police and said you have
Yes.
the wrong number?
Yes. To the Houston Police Department. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say he's making himself look a little sus.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things like that too before that. But I finally get through to San Antonio because it's the whole thing, the whole same story. An adult's allowed to walk away if they want to. And I just had to keep giving them everything, like all the information I knew, everything leading up to her disappearance, what was going on. That was a big thing for me. It's like, no way. There was too much going on before that something happened. And they got her listed Tuesday night. Initially, it seemed like they would help. They were, they searched the home, cars, cadaver dogs. We got Texas EquiSearch to come search her peeing locations. It was there at her home. And they got to question him once, asked him if he would take a polygraph test. He said yes, but then right after stopped responding to police altogether and will not go in for questioning. He was asked about her phone, her laptop. He just won't respond to anything and got a lawyer.
I have said so many times, I'm sure if people have heard me before, they're going, okay, Teri, we get it. But I, to this day, do not understand why the person who was seen last with the person who's gone missing, why they can't be compelled to talk. I know they have the right to not incriminate themselves, but hello, you shouldn't be able to just say, oh, I don't want to talk to you. Bye.
Something definitely has to change. Especially because the more I've learned over the years in other missing persons cases, I mean, what happened to Bianca happens to a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
And they're missing because of the same story. We got into a fight. She walked away and left her life for another man.
Did they have a history of any domestic violence or any calls to police or anything?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so. There were things, I talk about this in some of the podcasts. There were things in the beginning that it wasn't a healthy relationship. It wasn't the best choice, but she did get pregnant pretty quickly and really, again, try to overcome a situation and make it better than, sitting there trying to do nothing about it.
Right.
I just, when I reflect back, I've had 8 years to reflect. I just think there was probably more going on than I really knew. And it could be, I was going through my own stuff too. There were just a lot of things he even said in the months before her disappearance that were just very, if anything, there was definitely emotional abuse. Definitely.
Okay.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, and as somebody who's been married and lived through that, I'm maybe a rare person, but I found the emotional abuse harder to deal with than the physical abuse.
I agree.
I mean, some people don't agree with me.
I would say that it feels worse. Yeah.
It is.
And I have been physically abused. So so I know, like, I just feel like it's worse.
Yeah, it is. Now, has there been any significant developments that the police have gotten? Tips or anything?
No, I mean, they were pretty straightforward with me in the
Okay.
beginning when I sat down. I think a month had passed. They were investigating. I asked to sit down with the homicide unit that had her case. So a homicide unit was brought in
Okay,
to
so
help.
homicide is involved. Okay.
Yes, they have her case. Um, Sat down, and that detective looked me square in my face and said, "We believe that her husband has something to do with her disappearance. We believe he had help, but unless we find her body, there's nothing we can do."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There was no sugarcoating it. There was no, yeah.
And I have to say, it's becoming more common that no body cases are prosecuted. Do they just feel they don't have enough evidence, even though their gut says he did it? Is it just they need more evidence?
I feel it's hard. I talked to you about this on the phone. It is hard talking against law enforcement for me. It has been. It's been very trying on my soul these 8 years. Um, I believe it's easier not to deal with
Mhm.
a missing persons case.
It is.
The accountability, there's nothing, there's no laws in place there's no accountability. Um, I just spoke to a lieutenant 2 weeks ago, and I told her, any of you could tell me that you're investigating her case, but I don't know that that's true. I don't know if that's true. Because you are continuing to tell me I can't tell you this, I can't tell you that, because it's an open case, but it's been 8 years.
Mhm.
So where's the accountability?
There's not. I mean, one positive thing, and I don't know if it's positive, but one unique thing, they're at least answering you. I've talked to so many family members, they don't get return phone calls.
They
They
weren't.
get nothing. Oh, so they had stopped for a while.
Yeah. Uh, I said lieutenant. I shouldn't have had to contact a lieutenant.
Shouldn't have.
Actually, yes, I have been ignored. Emails, phone calls, went above a detective, went to the sergeant, had some conversations with that one. Still getting, I feel like they've told me what I need to hear to leave them alone just for a little bit. Um, Meetings telling me that they would sit down with me, and then they don't. Ghosting me. And I gave it, I wish I would have done it sooner. Maybe God is in control, right? So it doesn't, I can't
Right.
say that. But I told myself when I got back from her birthday event on the 21st that if they did not respond to this long email that I had CC'd so many, that I was going to be forced to go to the captain.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. And funny how I get an email back that very day. But you shouldn't have to do
You
that.
shouldn't have to.
It was awful. And when I talked to the lieutenant, she told me, I don't like getting emails like that. And I used the word disgusted. And she said, use the word disgusted. I said, it is disgusting.
Yeah.
I said, with all due respect, it's disgusting to ignore a
Mhm.
family member who is searching for their loved one. And I said, Lieutenant, what would you not be doing the same thing for your family member? Would you not expect a response? And then she proceeded to tell me, well, what would you want to be told if there's no good news? Well, there needs to be accountability that you're working on this. And if
Yeah.
not, let somebody else solve this case for you if you're at a standpoint where you can't do anything else. But for
Yeah.
it to
Give it to
just sit
somebody else.
there, yeah, yeah. It's
That
been really frustrating, really frustrating.
Yeah, I think it was just on Monday, I said, "I don't get how if a police officer was to call my house or to leave a card on my front door, they would expect a response. And if I
Right.
didn't give them a response, I would be in trouble,
You'd
right?
be in trouble. Yeah.
But they nothing.
Hmm.
And I don't understand it, and I know it's not just here in Texas, but it drives me insane. Have they shared any of the file with you or told you anything they found at the house when they searched it?
So I feel like I don't know what is true or not true. There's been a few
Okay.
detectives on her case. I think one kind of told me maybe too much. Um, but I mean, I haven't shared that with anyone.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And I
but
think that's
but
one reason why they don't, because they think family members will
yes.
share. And I
Well,
wouldn't want you to share, but I do want to
this
know that
lieutenant
I want
I
to
said,
know.
well, this lieutenant that did that, I was said, um, he was straight honest with me. And this was years into her disappearance, and he said they screwed up. He was the only has been the only one that has admitted and said we screwed up. There were too many hands on this, not enough focus, and yeah. So now
And
at
now
this point,
somebody's getting
it's
away
just
with
like
murder.
right. Well, I'm just thinking like right, you're wrong. If you get a
Right.
new detective on this case and you want a fresh set of eyes, that's why you're bringing in a new detective.
Mhm.
Right, you're wrong.
Yeah, because
Admit, respond to my emails,
yeah.
respond to my phone calls.
Now, I know that did you know before she went missing that she was planning on divorcing him, that she had made that decision and was gonna move
Initially,
forward?
like at the end of February, that's when they stopped talking. I thought
Okay.
that that was kind of normal for them. When they got into a fight, they wouldn't talk for weeks. I could never do that, but that's how they did it. And they were together for 10 years, so this is how they did it. Um, I I thought, okay, they're just in a argument. They're gonna get it together. They never did. And I think it was in March. I cannot remember when she changed her Facebook status to divorce, but you could just tell with everything going on, they're getting a divorce. What's going on behind closed doors, I don't know, but they're going to get a divorce. He did not want that though. He did not. He was talking to anyone who would listen, quit his job in Odessa in the oil fields so that he could work in San Antonio to be there. I think he thought if he was there, he could work on their marriage. I don't know. Um, but he was really panicked that she wasn't coming back to him, you
And he
know?
had a problem with that. He didn't wanna let that control
Yes,
go, it sounds like, from everything
right.
I've
As
heard.
I noticed towards her disappearance, the comments he was making about her were just disgusting, and it was just like you're just saying these things because your ego is hurt, you know, and you're losing her. But I mean, I don't know. I knew that they were done. And when she told me on Sunday that she was going to see a divorce lawyer. She had said she was done. So,
She had made up her mind. Were
mhm.
they having any financial issues? I mean, was he worried about having to pay child support? They weren't married long enough in Texas, I don't think, to get spousal support. I think we do that now.
I'm not even sure. I mean, always done. He works in the oil field, and she's a
So,
nurse. They've
yeah,
always done pretty well. I think maybe it was just a battle over finances, maybe.
right.
Only because, and I say that because she didn't think she could afford to take care of the kids. He had her convinced of that. And I'm like, yes, you can. You're a registered nurse.
Yeah.
And then he removed all their money the days before.
Oh,
He
that's
emptied their
right.
account. And so I don't know. I think money was in not I don't think they were having financial problems. I think they were
He may have
having
been
a
financial
battle.
control from him. It sounds like he wanted to
That's right.
control her
Yeah.
because you see that a lot of times go along with emotional abuse,
Hmm.
that financial abuse.
Yeah.
And sorry to tell him, but she's a registered nurse. She can absolutely take care of those kids. Sorry,
Yes.
dude. She doesn't need you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
mean, she came to her. We talked. I think I did. And another friend told her, like, yes, you can.
yeah,
Don't let somebody tell you you can't. You
yeah.
can.
Now, what would you like to see the police do about her husband and about her case?
I mean, They could just go knock on his door. He lives in the house that she went missing from
Oh, he still
with
lives
the
in the same house.
kids. Well, he moved. He moved right after she went missing, took all her stuff,
Okay.
moved to Odessa. The kids were removed for 6 months. And then, as soon as the CPS case was closed, he moved back into the home with a new girlfriend. Why can't they just go knock on the door and ask questions? I know that legally they can't make him come in. I know that
Yeah.
they can't make him take a polygraph test, but has anyone even tried to pick up the phone and
Yeah.
ask questions?
Make him uncomfortable.
They
Make
call
him keep
me
telling you.
they called me missing persons in the beginning. It was so frustrating. I had to tell them, because they're not police officers, they're just agents. They would
Mhm.
call me and say, "Oh, do you have any information on your sister?"
Uh, okay, wait a minute. They were calling you to ask you if
Missing
you had information on your sister's case.
Yes, missing
Okay.
persons. Yeah, that would just frustrate me because it's like, obviously, if I knew something, I would be calling you. Why are you
I'm
calling me?
frustrated now. That is the
It
first time
was
I've heard
very
that.
frustrating. And I told the lieutenant that I said, I've told missing persons not to contact me because they're calling me asking for information that y'all are supposed to be looking for. Um, but I just think if missing persons is calling me, why are they calling him? Why are they not going up to his door and asking him, "Have you heard from her?" He's telling other people that she walked away. How does he know this?
Yeah, because
What
he wasn't.
That's a pretty simple question. You're so convinced
Yeah.
that she walked away. You're convinced the kids believe it too, that she walked away. How can we talk about how you know that?
Yeah. Has he shown any emotion? Because I have to tell you, even when I was divorcing, my kid's dad, if he would have come up missing after one of our arguments before we filed, I would have still been heartbroken for my kids. Even
Exactly.
though I didn't love him, I didn't want anything to happen to him.
Right.
And I wouldn't want my kids to grow up, and I would have been sad because of that. Has he shown any of that emotion?
No, I think that's the saddest part to me is that, say he didn't do anything, right? Say
Mhm.
something else happened.
Right.
Um, I can't wrap my mind around why he would tell those babies that she walked away from them. Why, as a parent, you would want to protect their little hearts.
I would.
Why would you say all these bad things about her to them? Why would you want them to go?
Why would
I,
you do that to a kid?
why
I
would
mean,
you
they
do
were
that?
young.
And those are your
They
kids.
Yeah.
Those are your kids. Why would you do that?
Yeah. I
We did an event in May, and we had a search and support organization that's out there out of San Antonio. And we've gone out there and put missing flyers in the neighborhood because that's where she was last seen,
Right?
at her home. So we plaster those flyers everywhere around there. Well, they were doing that day, and the girlfriend was driving my sister's son around, and they were pulling those flyers down. That's
Uh-oh. Looks like we lost her for just a second. I'm sure she will log back in. I think that the system got just as frustrated about the fact that the new girlfriend was driving around the missing person's child and having them remove the missing person flyers. I really think the internet just got just as mad and shocked as I
I'm back.
am. Yeah,
Okay.
I was just saying, I think the internet is just as shocked that the girlfriend's driving around with the child, taking down I'm going to watch my language, the freaking missing person flyers. How old was he at that time?
This was just this year, so he's 17.
That is still
I think that's where I'm just like, okay, well, I knew that was a possibility, but actually knowing that that is what they believe. I tried to protect them in the beginning of this. I didn't want to say too much in the media. Um, I don't want to slander her husband.
Right.
That's not the goal. The
You just
thing
want to
is,
answer.
he was the last one to see her. Nobody else has seen her. So if
I
you
mean,
didn't have anything to do with her disappearance, why aren't you helping?
and that's the part that gets me is that y'all were still married. You have 3 children together. Even if you were getting divorced, shouldn't you want to find her because of your kids? Do you really want your kids growing up not knowing what happened? Um, that's just crazy to me. It looks like the internet. See, guys, I told you technical difficulties today. Um, I while we're waiting for her to come back on, th- I agree. You know, you don't want to come out and badmouth the husband and say that he did anything, but he definitely isn't making himself look very good. I mean, he's not even trying to pretend, he's not even trying to pretend that he cares. It sounds like he's just moved
Mm-mm.
on.
Yeah, it's sad.
That, I mean, that's horrible. Now, are
I
there
think for years too, I really think that I think him, I'm going to say him and the police, I think thought that eventually this was going to go away when, if anything, it's intensifying because these children
Mhm.
are older. And now I know that they believe this about their mommy. And I can't let that happen. Can you imagine thinking about that? I mean,
No,
I have mother issues, but to think that she walked away from me and left me, and
that's
I
what
just
I'm saying. I can't imagine that he would want. And why would you tell them? Why not give them hope that I personally would protect my children at all cost and tell
right,
them we don't know what happened, but I know she loved you and she would not have voluntarily left you.
right, right.
So now, is there any misconceptions or rumors out there about her case that you want to address and set the record straight?
Um, sure. I try to do that in the podcast because it comes up, but um, a lot of the times people hyper focus on the fact that he used to be our uncle, and they immediately think incest. He's not our blood. He was not our blood uncle. He
Right.
also was married to our mother's side of our family that we did not grow up with. We Our mother was not in our life. It was our dad that was raising us. So at 18, when Bianca went to go live back in Odessa to kind of try to reconnect with our mother,
Mhm.
um, this is how that came about. And it happened so fast. And it was not this grooming type situation. It wasn't
Wasn't any
I don't know. It's just
salacious,
not what
tawdry thing.
no, it's just the way that it's put out there by some. It was True Crime Daily or Crime Watch Daily, whatever it's called
Mhm.
now. It was them that put that story out, and my mother was on that show, and she put that out there, and it took me a couple years to act because I didn't have a relationship with my mother either at the time, and neither did Bianca. She did try to help find her, but she went
Mhm.
back to drugs. She just couldn't cope with everything. So she's actually in prison now, but she was on drugs when she did that interview. And it was
She
just,
was.
yes. And I just felt like Crime Watch Daily just totally exploited the entire situation. When I was looking for my sister, her kids had just gone back to their dad from CPS, and it's like after that. I just couldn't believe that that video still gets shown. And so I do try to address it now. It's like, it's not the way that they put it out there. It's just not.
That and unfortunately people do that because they want the clicks, the views, the downloads and stuff,
Yep.
but that's not the important thing. The
It's
important thing
not.
is that she's gone. It doesn't
She's missing.
matter.
And she's another human being. You know,
Right.
that's my thing. And the police are telling me, "Oh, well, there's a lot of missing persons." Okay, but would you accept that answer? If that was your loved one, would you just say, "Oh, well, there's a lot of missing people"?
And sadly, and I'm going to say this so nobody come at me, but I think they say maybe the family will just go away and they'll just accept it and they'll stop looking.
But do you really want to know what hurts about that? Is I'm her sister.
Yeah. I mean,
And you, like, I've told this to them, you know that our father is not looking for her. He's never even called. You know that our mother's in prison because she's here in the state of Texas. How dare you
mhm,
make it that she's not as important just because I'm her sister looking for her? And because
well,
I do feel that way. I feel that they just see a sister. She's going to end up giving up because of
mhm.
the situation. And I'm not.
As I say, I don't think you are, and I think they may have underestimated you because y'all just did that great birthday
Mhm.
event, which I thought was great. I mean, you do an amazing job of getting her information out there, and I'm sure it takes an emotional toll on you.
It definitely has been a journey, a ugly one, but I God is good because I can't tell you. My heart goes out to those people that are in the same shoes as me, because nobody can understand it unless you're in it. Nobody can. It's not like a regular loss. It's not
Right.
um,
I
where
can't even imagine.
the loss of a crime, like where you know someone when they're
Right.
just out there and you don't know where. That's just a really really dark place to be in. Um,
Mhm.
but I just feel like pulled out of that part to where, God is a just God. He's not just a
Mhm.
loving God, he's a just God.
He is just.
And he will, nobody's going to get away with this, and it's just what I'm here to say. You're not going to get away with it. It's not going to happen, you know?
Now, it seems like the community in San Antonio has been really great about
Yeah.
supporting you. Have they been?
Yeah. I think, the news has been really awesome there. The news media, uh, people. I don't know why. I say I don't know why. I know because my sister is not just beautiful. There's a story there, that I believe people just see her picture and probably know that without knowing they know.
Mhm.
Um, but there have been all these amazing advocates come through, her friends, the community, that just say, we want answers just as bad as you do for your sister, that they love her somehow without even knowing her and want to find her.
Well, that means you've done a great job of getting her story out
I've
there.
had a lot of help. I've had a lot of help, thankfully.
Now, I wanted to ask a couple of questions. So, her husband, because they never got divorced, he is remarried, I'm assuming.
No.
No, he just has does he have the same girlfriend?
Yes. So
Okay.
legally, he wouldn't be able to remarry.
Oh, because he's never declared.
She's not declared deceased. I
Okay.
did find out that he tried to file to divorce um, last summer, but I would imagine that lawyer would have told him that was dumb to do.
Um,
But
yeah, I don't think you can do that. I don't know the law, but I'm just thinking you can't divorce a missing person.
you can't. I mean, I guess
Now,
there's ways. I mean, I don't know. I don't know I'm actually in the process right now of trying to get into the legal stuff to help, because I don't
Mhm.
think I have another option. So I have a lot of questions about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too, so that'll be interesting to
Hmm.
see. Now, I wanna give you a chance because I know I heard about your sister at the podcast festival, and to be honest, I have so many cards and stuff here, I don't even remember who told me about it, but I know it was one of the organizations or advocates. So, I wanted to give you a chance to maybe tell us about some of these advocates or organizations that have just done so much for you.
Haley Gray Research
Mhm.
is, she's probably watching right now. Uh, Haley is, she doesn't make, she checks on me like as a person, and how are you doing? And she just shares for Bianca all the time with, at her these podcast things, or I
Mhm.
don't know these conferences. But I know that she helps other advocates with their podcasts and, ethics, things like
Mhm.
that, which is so important, because that in itself in these past 2 years have been more help than anything, because they're not just saying, um, hey, well, I'll pray for you, or they're actually doing something. I mean, she's the one that made these bracelets.
Oh,
These,
she is. Well,
yeah.
Haley
She
did
did
an
that.
amazing job.
Yeah, she did that. She doesn't have to do that, and she did that. Whitney from Navigating
Yeah.
Advocacy, she came to Bianca's birthday thing. Jessica from, I don't remember her thing. Um, Evaporate for the Missing, Nina from Search and Support. There's just all these people, just, hey, or you Holly from Crimeaholics. They share like you have shared, not just, you're not just sharing your podcast, or
No, I
your
want the other
you want
podcast. You
real
need to go listen to
answers.
all of it.
Right. You and you there That changes everything. And then it speaks to what you said in the beginning about empathy. Um, that's the driving force of stuff like this. Um, Her friends, Julie and Rosa, they love her, and the emotional support, and then just Julie coming in and doing all the, like, she helps make the TikToks and the Instagram stuff, and we tag team on a lot of that. She's in Odessa and I'm in Houston, and so there. And then we all kind of meet up in the middle in San Antonio, and
I was
it's
say in
so
San Antonio, kind of in the
right,
middle.
right. So that's just, we're all here for Bianca, and those people just coming and willing to help that are not, they don't even know Bianca, and it's really beautiful.
What can the public do to help assist? I mean, I know sharing every post they see, things like that. Is there anything else that they can do, we can do to help get the word out there? Because somebody knows something. I mean, you can't
Oh,
just,
I agree. I think there's multiple people that know. I do.
yeah.
I really do. I speak to those people more than anything, because they may think that they're being loyal, and they're doing something good by doing that, but they're actually not. It almost makes them worse than the person that actually did something,
Agreed, because they're hurting the kids
Yeah.
intentionally
And I
keeping
really
it.
hope, I pray for this. I pray for conviction on the hearts of those people, because something that maybe you don't care for my sister, but think about her children.
Mhm.
Just think about them. Think about their little faces, their life, how awful this is, that they have to grow up like this. That's awful. Um, so I say to share and post. I could use help. Me and Julie get on, we'll get, if news is shared or like this, we try to respond, our YouTube, TikTok, all that. We try to respond to people, to make them aware that we're present, we're here. This is
Mhm.
not just you're not just seeing some, like, we're
Right.
here, we're responding. Please help us. It's real. It's genuine. You're not speaking to a robot, or you're speaking to
Right.
us. Um, I would say we need help. Like, we're trying to get more national news involved. We
Hmm.
don't know how to do that. So if anyone knows how to do that, please help us. Um, so we've been just trying to comment under things to make,
Hmm.
hopefully maybe bring attention. Twitter, I still can't figure out. It's not even Twitter anymore.
I know. I'm like, I can't figure out the X, the Twitter, the
I
Twatter,
cannot
whatever it
either.
is.
I've
I
tried. It's there. It's there. I've repost, but I don't know how to get it going. Um, my sister-in-law she has a business, and she just created another design for shirts. There's no
Oh,
profit or anything from it. They're good advertising. Um,
yes. Where
people
can those
ask.
be purchased?
I just posted the links today.
Okay.
She created up a design in a Google form, but those kind of things prompt people to ask questions.
Hmm.
It's incredible. I mean, when I was there in San Antonio, we were wearing our shirts. People, that you can see them looking like, and they live there. And for me, it's like, you live there.
Hmm.
Someone disappeared in your city, in your community, vanished. Last seen at her house. It's important.
That it is, because we like to think that it's never going to happen to us or to somebody we know. But
Right.
like you said, there's a lot of missing people out there.
Hmm.
And I think there's a higher number of women who've gone missing
At the
after an
store.
argument
Hmm.
with their husband, or,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's actually, sadly, because I live in Houston, so I can't honestly say that I'm more connected to the missing persons cases here. There's a couple, um, but over there, because we do events over there,
Hmm.
there's 3 women off the top of my head
There is.
that are missing from San Antonio. Patty Vaughn,
Patty
is
Vaughn's the
another
one I know about. And then there's another
23
one.
years.
Is it
Cecilia's husband was arrested.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, they put him in trial. They just can't find her. They can't find
Right.
her body. What Pauline? She's a older lady. Her daughter's looking for her. She's been missing for 13 years.
I'm writing this down. I'm going to have to go
Yes,
look.
Pauline Cantu Diaz, I believe. Um,
I mean, it's
There's another one, Cassandra Gonzalez. She went missing last year, and it's about to be a year. And I think her situation is a little different, but it's still, for me, what I'm realizing, and I don't remember if I told you this on the phone. I'm born and raised, love the state of Texas.
me
Like,
too.
I'm through and through. Um, Culturally, there's a lot of Mexican American people here.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think it's a coincidence that in San Antonio there is all these women are Hispanic women. And I don't think we give enough pushback. You're not going to find a lot of people doing what I'm doing right now, pushing back
Right.
in our culture. And I want to encourage them to speak up too. Don't accept what they're telling you, and because we're used to just being quiet and following.
Right.
You're an American. You can speak up,
You can.
especially in the state of Texas. You have
Hmm.
that freedom.
You do. You
Yeah.
do. And it's sad. It's sad to think that I think law enforcement also looks at it a little bit different.
Hmm.
And that's sad to say, but I
Hmm.
do think they do. If somebody
Yeah.
wants to convince me I'm wrong, I would love to have that conversation with them. But when you look at responses to somebody that looks like this or somebody that looks like this,
That's right.
look at
Hmm.
look at it. It drives me crazy.
I
Now,
spoke a little bit about that with Gabby Petito's mom.
mhm,
And she, I think they're trying to get together with Black and Missing. I think
Mhm.
that's their organization. But they noticed it and they didn't go through that. So it's like, it's not just me saying that because I'm brown.
Right. No, I
And
think,
not,
I mean,
it's pretty obvious,
it's
you know.
blatant. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was born and raised in Texas too.
Right. Right.
Love it. I do lately say our state's on crack, but that's okay. Hopefully they're going to go to rehab and get some things back together, but it it is. If you don't look a certain way, I think you get less attention, and I don't understand it. Will never understand it.
Yeah.
Now, and this may be a really tough question, and I forgot to mention that I was going to maybe ask, do you believe your sister is still with us? Or do you think he did something to her?
I
Or
do not
someone, we won't blame
I do
him.
not believe that she is here. Um, we we have two other sisters, and all of us, when this first happened that week, we just knew.
You know,
We just knew she wasn't here. Can't really explain it.
I think you have a
Um,
feeling. I think I'm
yeah,
a person who says trust your gut and trust how you feel.
yeah. And I don't want people to get. I don't want them to think that that means that I've lost hope. It's just I don't when you put things into perspective, if I know without a shadow of a doubt that she didn't walk away, but
Mhm.
she was, if she was alive all these years, to think about what awful things could be happening to her if she were alive.
That's a hard
I
place
don't
for your mind to go.
I don't even want to go there. I
Yeah.
don't, and that's not being hopeless. I just don't want to even.
I think self preservation is important as well
I
because
mean, my sister's gone through. She's gone through enough. So to think about that, I can't. I can't do that.
yeah, no, I think that's okay. Now, you had the kids there for a little while, didn't you?
6 months.
6 months. And we don't have to get into it, but you don't have them now. They're back with their dad, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten to see them or anything. He keeps them for most of the family.
Well, I hope they know that when the truth does come out, whatever that truth is, that I'm sure you'll be there to support them and help them get through it when they have to maybe accept some really hard realities.
I've gotten to talk on the phone with her older one here this year. Um, they're mad at me. I mean, they're mad because they think that their mom walked away, so they believe I'm making their dad look awful and horrible, and I get that. Which
That's
you
what they've
said,
been told.
self preservation and what our defense, what the
Mhm.
brain does to protect ourselves. Um, I I never wanted them to think. I never even wanted to share everything that I shared because of them.
Right.
But it now it's like I have to. I don't have a choice, and it's not. Uh, the oldest one said something about clout. I don't want clout. I would rather not have this situation. I have
Right.
children too. It's not um, an easy thing to walk through. I have moments where I feel unsafe, where I think I'm speaking out too much. Somebody's going to come and hurt me, or they're going to hurt my children.
Mhm.
Going to San Antonio, I've only been twice. I It's not an easy thing to be involved in. So no, I don't want the clout. I don't want this at all. I shared with her that she could encourage him to come answer
She
questions.
could.
I've told her, don't go to the news, don't go to anyone, go straight to the police,
Yeah.
and make them answer some questions. Um,
Did the police ever question the children?
No, CPS did.
Okay. So
Um,
somebody did.
mhm. And that's a whole
Well,
nother thing. Like I said,
yeah.
there's just so much to this. That,
Well,
yeah,
like I said, I hope they realize that when they get even older and they have, children of their own, or God forbid one of their siblings go missing. I do not I can't imagine even the people I dislike the most, I would never wish that on them
no,
because after talking to families and I can't I think one day they'll understand and that in itself is heartbreaking because like you said self-preservation, I can only think if they let their brain go there, then they wouldn't have a dad
my
or a mom.
gosh.
And I
I've said
just
that.
that
I've
makes
said that. I mean, right. And
makes me
people,
yeah.
yeah, and that's what people, I don't think they
Yeah.
realize, because they're like, why didn't you talk more in the beginning? If I, all in my head was like, they don't have their mom,
Yeah.
and then they're not, what if they're not going to have their dad? And I truly believe that's why we haven't had answers. I do believe that God's timing is perfect, and that maybe he's protecting them, that they, I remember them being taken that week that she went missing, and how traumatic
Oh,
that
yeah.
had to have been. I mean, their mom is gone. They can't find her. The police are everywhere. There's all this stuff going on. Then they're taken away from their home,
Yeah.
and from their dad. They don't think that about their dad. I didn't want to think that about their dad. That's another hard part about this. You don't want to think that somebody in your family is capable of
Yeah.
doing something so awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I know this is a kind of a little crazy question, but if Bianca was out there and could hear this, what would you want to say to her?
Um, that I miss her a lot, and that I love her, and that I'm very proud of her. Sometimes I don't think I said that enough to her. I'm very proud of her.
Well, I bet she knew, and I bet she's watching, even if it's from upstairs and she knows. And I bet she's proud of you because, like you said, you are a sister. And I bet the police just don't know what quite to do with a sister doing as much as you
Yeah,
because that's normally not where that falls, right?
right, right.
So I think she was, very lucky to, have you as a sister.
I think that we were both like, I am very thankful I had my sister to get through life, because it was a crazy one, growing up, and she's a part of who I grown up to be. So, yeah.
Good. Well, like I said, I want to thank you because I know this isn't easy. And I want to also encourage you if there is anything you need or can think of that we can do, we do have a little small team of people who help us behind the scenes. We are more than willing to do whatever we can to help get the word out. I also wouldn't mind just happen to run into this husband somewhere someday and just say, hey, tell me something.
Somebody
I
wants to
mean,
do that, that'd be great.
I I just and I want to tell the police, come on, San Antonio, show the Texas. They always say we're built tough and we're built
Mhm.
right.
And don't mess with
Well, you're
Texas.
not showing
Yeah,
that we're built very
that's what I
right
think. Yeah, yeah, that's what I
because
think too.
I personally think out of all of the states that Texas should be the one that has the least amount of missing people because our law enforcement should be kicking butt. I was going to ask real quick, did the FBI get involved at all or no?
No. So,
Has the Texas
um,
Rangers gotten involved?
finally, they're on standby to help, but they
Okay.
weren't. the thing is that people don't realize with the FBI or like in our state, the Texas Rangers, the San Antonio police or wherever you are has to request their help.
Right. They
The
can't
state
just
of
come in.
Texas, no, and the state of Texas actually has a new cold case missing person unit in their their AG office.
Mhm.
There's a whole unit up there now. It's only, I think, maybe 3 years old. But I've reached out to them even, and they have to ask them for help.
Which
They don't ask for help. And that's been part of the fight. Like, if you can't do it, ask for help, get help. You know,
I mean,
we have we have the Texas Rangers,
we do, and
you
that's
know?
the thing that kills me. I always tell my kids or employees, I'm like, hey, if you need help, ask. I think more of you for asking for that help and saying,
Exactly.
hey, I tried it myself. I did this, this, and this, but I'm just not doing it. And that's something about law enforcement. I do not get
I
why
don't either.
they egos. I'm like, I would think more highly of you if you asked for the Rangers to come in or asked for somebody. I mean, I get maybe not on day one.
I do
You
too.
want to
It's
try to
been
do it
8 years though. I mean,
in
even a
8
year,
years?
even a year. Like,
Yeah,
I say a year. If it's going on and you're not getting anywhere and you're in circles,
ask
like,
for help.
why not? Why not get help?
Yeah,
They've never
it's
even searched for her. It was Texas EquiSearch that they gave them whatever they would, but they never gave them his phone pings.
yeah,
They
and they
won't release
won't.
those because it's an open case. But it's
Right.
like, well, then y'all go look for her. They've
Or
never
do
even looked for her.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. One day I'm going to find a police officer that wants to come on and us put something over their face so we can protect their identity. I would love for somebody to explain to me why. I
Yeah.
don't understand why it's got to be that way because I don't think it has to be.
I don't think so either.
So
I mean,
I'm going to
that's what
ask
they're there
everybody
for.
that watches this, share this. And if you want to tag the San Antonio police in it, I say tag them because maybe they see it so much. Maybe they'll be like, okay, maybe we need to do something to get these crazy people off our back because they only seem to respond to excessive persuasion, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's gonna take because um Season of Justice. Oh my gosh, Kendall at Season of Justice. She
Yes.
helped get a billboard up in San Antonio for Bianca in May, and it was there for a month. And I firmly believe that billboard and just the hype around it
Hmm.
finally got SAPD to get Crime Stoppers involved. I've been asking for years for Crime Stoppers to get
They
involved.
just they just got
Yes. And I believe that's what it was. And that's why I say, please share, please continue.
is
If
there
you
a
want to talk, go talk, go share,
is there
um,
a reward that Crime Stoppers or anybody has?
$5,000, $5,000.
5,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not enough to probably encourage people to do the right thing.
No, I haven't gotten a lot of help with how to do that because I guess if Crime Stoppers is doing a reward, you can't really raise funds for, I don't know
You and
how
I
that
can
works.
talk offline, and I can
Okay.
tell you how that works because we
Okay.
have done that on the Chase Lackey side, and I can kind of tell you
Okay. That'd be
and give
awesome.
you a little bit of that. It's a little complicated, but like I said, thank you. Please reach out. I want to
Thank
thank
you so much.
everybody who's watching this. I'm going to ask y'all share this, go like, help us find answers for Bianca Carrasco. You guys do a great job of getting stuff on there. You have a list of all of the different podcast articles and things. There is some great stuff out there. And like I said, it is a big story. And my other thought is maybe the more people who hear the story and listen, maybe somebody will be, oh, have you thought of this? Because everybody has different
Right.
experiences, different things. I kind of believe that's what helps answer and maybe
Mhm.
solve some of this stuff is somebody goes, oh, I wonder that kind of stuff. And I hope that helps. And I truly
Thank you.
hope you get the answers that you deserve. And I want to say your strength and resilience, and just hearing about Bianca makes me think, because my grandmother used to always tell me, you can't, how did she say it? You can't decide what life you're dealt, but you can decide if you make the best out of it or if you want to sit there and say, pitiful me. And it sounds like your sister was a lot the same way. Just right, life's rough. What do I need to do to make the best of what I got? And
she would say, put your big girl panties on. That's what she said.
I tell my granddaughter that all the time. Just put on your big girl panties.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Monday for our next episode. And remember that you can like this and subscribe and never miss anything. So I will see you on Monday. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all soon.
Thank you.